out of Academy, hit the streets in the southeast side, one of the most dangerous sides of town in Houston. All you have to do is say Sunny Side, and people know what that is. So I
Right.
started my patrol there, and man, I went hitting the pavement, man, and I wanted to serve and wanted to make an impact because us knowing we come from the hood, we know what it's like to be out there. We know what the streets are like. And this is the thing, man. The streets don't really change. It's
Mm-hmm.
the same. It's just a different element and it remains the same. It's nothing's changed, man. You have that certain mindset. It's a spiritual thing, but we get probably with that a little later. So
Right.
along my career, I went into different avenues. I went undercover. I went detective. I've done tactical. I've done it on narcotics. I've done robbery division. I've done it all, and I excelled above and beyond all expectations in every area that I went. I've decorated police officer, made officer of the year, got a lot of awards from the city council, from the mayor, previous mayor, from the community, the citizens and communities, and the list just goes on. So I had the background to back up everything I said, and then it's going to be documented. It's not being said now, but as we now speak, eventually it will have to come out. But it's federally documented that while I was on patrol, the 7 years I was on patrol, the only single man unit in world history that's made the most felony arrest charges, fugitive arrest charges, narcotics arrest charges than any police officer in world history. So
Wow, brother.
speak
Wow.
in and of itself.
Wow. Wow. I'm really so proud of you. Hey, but before I give you your accolades, man, we was talking for about 5 minutes and I didn't hit. We wasn't live. I had to hit the live button. I'm looking over there like, what that button I read. But anyway,
Okay.
so the whole intro, we'll do that later. We ain't worry about that. We got my very special guest, Stevan, flew in on the show tonight. We're talking about something super important. Decorated police officer, man, been in law enforcement for 7 years, knows what he's talking about. And for the people that I didn't press the live button, I was talking about. I
Well,
wanted
actually,
to.
years, but
Hmm?
7 years on patrol.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, okay, good, good. But from where we come from, being in Rochester, New York, man, for both of us to come out, thank God, no felonies, no jail time. We grew up in a rough area, man. And
Yeah.
I always tell people the bottom line is choices, the decisions that you make in life. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a choice. And we made the right choice. We came from good parents. I know your whole family, your sisters, your mom. We was bad kids, but we were respectfully bad.
Yeah. That's right.
You
Big
know?
di-
Yeah.
yeah. Big difference, bro.
Yeah, a big difference, man. So I'm so proud of you, man. You saw what you wanted to do, your vision. You stayed away from drugs and street life and running around and doing crazy things. And you made something of yourself, man. I'm super proud of you, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. Same to you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you. My little brother. It's my baby brother for real, y'all. Y'all don't know.
Yo, man.
Yeah. But I wanted to talk about the importance of police compliance and police stops, man. I grew up, like I said, my mom told me once I got the age to go get an ID, she said, you go get you I think it was called a non-driver's ID or something. I can't remember what it was. She said, you always keep that with you, always keep that wallet with you. And she actually sat down and told me when police pull you over, this is what you do. You be compliant. You say, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Give them your ID. Let them do what they got to do and go about your way. But in today's world, we see so many people thinking that they know more than that. They watch a couple of TikTok videos and they think they know the law.
Yeah.
If you just be compliant, and
Yeah.
I've been pulled over out here. Steven, this is what I do. I roll all my windows down, brother. Cut the car off. I already got everything ready for them. They pull up. They like, oh, he already. And they don't. They check my stuff. Hey, man, you have a good day. Slow down, whatever the case may be, and I keep it moving.
Yeah.
But you see, so many people, now they want to tell the police what to do. You got to understand, especially you being an African American male, your butt needs to be compliant. You have to be. Can you talk to us on that for a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing you have to understand, everyone needs to understand, compliance is not a bad thing.
Right.
The whole idea of compliance means like like this authority, you taking my rights
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of people's minds, and because you're looking at the uniform on the officer and then you may be looking at the race of the officer. But this whole thing about compliance is like a big deal. And
Right.
a lot of people don't want to do it because, people like to have control of this.
Mm-hmm.
But compliance is simply when you're in a situation where you're engaging with a police officer, it's nothing wrong with staying calm and listening to what the police officer says, because he's in the position, more than likely, he's there for a reason. But let's back up a little bit, because we have to have a clearer understanding of this whole meaning of compliance.
Right.
It's going to be difficult for a person to comply if their mindset and their environment dictates it a different way. Now, what am I saying? Now, if you're already in a state where there's problems in your life, right? Or there's issues going on in your life, you're in a toxic relationship on your job, right? You're in the hood, right? You may be intoxicated, or you may have something on you. You may have drugs in your system. Something may be happening in your life that even makes that compliance a difficult situation, not only for you, but for the officers also. But compliance, please understand, compliance is simply this: you being in a state of mind where you're calm enough, you're clear enough, you know who you are, you know you're not doing anything wrong in the first place. A regular person will comply.
Right.
More likely. Now, if you're not complying, then there's a whole nother issue. You don't have control of your emotions. A lot of people don't have control of their emotions when they encounter with the police officer. And most of the time, when you're not complying, you're running a lot of people. You see it yourself. People are already going off at the mouth at the police officer. They got an attitude with the police officer. They already telling police officers what their rights are, which they think their rights are. But your rights at the moment, you still have the rights, but you still have to listen and comply to a specific order of a police officer. It's that police officer has the right to be there.
Right. Yeah, and so many of them, they don't want to put their hands on the steering wheel. They reaching for stuff.
No, but this is what people need to start doing. It is, because it even helps me. It always helps me. Because I'll give you one incident right now. It was not too long ago. I was traveling to another city in Texas, and I pulled over. And it was in the area where I know it was. It ain't no blacks in this area. It's a town where I was passing through, and sure enough, I know. And I was passing the gas station, and I could see it was a state trooper. He was gassing up. But I saw where he looked over and looked inside, because I had rented a car, so you could see inside the car.
Right.
And he made eye contact with me. And I knew, something in me knew he was gonna come after me.
Right.
Then I just knew it. I mean, I know the game.
Right.
So, and I know the area. Here's a black man in this particular area. Okay, so I was going a little bit over the speed limit. 5 over the speed limit. Okay, it's not a big deal, but I knew the game.
Right.
It's 5. Usually, now I'm gonna give you another tip. Usually, police officers is not gonna pull you over on traffic if you're going between 5 and 10 over the speed limit. I don't know if you know that, but that's
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that.
I'm just not saying that tell people to do that, but I'm just saying that. A lot of officers, they ain't gonna really mess with you. It's just the truth. And if you pay attention when you do driving, and you happen to see a police officer, you notice you're going a little bit over. The police officer ain't gonna bother you. It's just the truth.
Right.
But the area I was in, I knew the environment. I already had my mindset ready, right? Because I'm back to what we was talking about. I know my mindset. I know who I am. I know I ain't doing nothing wrong. I don't have illegal in my car. So when the state trooper eventually caught up to me, and man, I'm telling you, this was about probably, he had to, I mean, man, it was no longer about 3 minutes. So this dude was booking it just to catch up with me, just to stop.
Wow. Yeah.
So over, I'm already cool. Now this is the test. Most of the times, I'm gonna teach y'all something else too about officers and on traffic stops. When an officer comes up to you If your demeanor and your behaviors is going to dictate how that officer is going to come at you in a certain way.
Gotcha. Okay.
And again, if you don't hear anything else, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Your behavior and your demeanor when you're pulled over on traffic stop is going to dictate how that officer is going to come towards you, based on how you react and how you come at him or her.
Right.
So if you're already in an attitude, you roll down the window and you what you pulling me over for? Already, you gonna cause a problem for yourself, because the officer knows. Now, if you're dealing with an officer that's already about ready to get you because of your skin color, you're already getting set up to get put in jail, have a resistance, because it's very easy. Because when you don't have your emotions in check, it's very easy for a dirty or a corrupt cop put you in jail.
Right.
So I'm like, cool, Jimmy. So he comes to my window. I said, yes, sir. I already know. I apologize. I probably been going a little bit overseas. He said, yes. Now, and I knew what he was going to say next because I know the game, but he was testing me. He said, sir, will you roll down your back windows for me? Now, why roll down my back windows when I'm on the traffic stop? There's nothing in my back seat, but he tested me to see whether or not I was going to do it. Now, if I said no, then that would have led him to say, okay, he would have pushed a little further and probably would have got me out of the car. And if I would have said no, then it would have led to some other things that he could have done. And I would have been abandoned in somewhere. I didn't even know where I was, but me not complying, but I complied. Yes, sir. I rolled down my back windows, and that gave him enough. That made him feel comfortable, for one.
Right.
Secondly, he knew if I rolled down the windows, he could see inside too. Thirdly, that would tell him I ain't got nothing to hide.
Right.
In my vehicle.
That's right.
And so that made the whole traffic stop much more smoother. You see what I'm saying? I complied to that one order in the conversation.
Right. Yeah, they pulled me over in Ohio coming from Phoenix. I was going to, because my mom got sick. I was driving back and they pulled me over in Ohio. Young officer, he made me get out. I showed him this never happened before. I showed him my license, registration, everything. He still made me get out of the car, got out of the car.
Yeah.
And he said, you mind sitting in the back of my patrol car? And I wanted to say, for what? But I didn't. I said, yeah, sure. I shot back there. He said, it's just for the safety of the traffic. And it was hella traffic on this particular highway where we was at. It was a state trooper that pulled me over. He made me sit in the back of the car.
Okay.
He didn't handcuff me, pat me down, none. He said it was just for the safety. He didn't want to be outside, and which I get, maybe didn't want to get hit or whatever. Okay. And we sit there. He's going through my stuff, and he see my license. Say, "Oh, you're a veteran." I'm like, "Yeah." Now he's making small talk. I'm like, he's making small talk to, I guess, the dispatch gave him the okay that I was cool or whatever.
Okay.
And he let me out. He said, "All right, have a good day." And I just found it odd that he wanted me to get in the back of the car. I'm like,
okay. Yeah, that was. God. That was, he was testing you too. See, that was his way of testing you.
Right.
Now, said no. And then you would have been okay with saying no, but then it's also the matter of how you would have said no and your attitude when you would have said no or said no, I'm okay. There's different ways you could have done it. And let's say if you didn't want to do that.
Right.
Most of the people say, they probably said, cuss the man out or said, no, I ain't doing nothing, all this kind of stuff. And and that could have led to another situation. But this is a way that most of y'all could have said no. You could have said no in the future because you didn't have to. You really didn't have to get him back up, and you did well, and that was fine. But if for future reference in this situation, I would have said, sir, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I didn't do anything wrong, and I know you're doing a job, but I don't feel comfortable with getting in your back seat. I'll just stand far off to the left or wherever you was in the sideway, and I'm handling your business to do what you need to do, sir. Is that okay with you?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have said that, but I had pistols in the car and shit. I'm like, you know what? Let me just be cool and do what he asks.
Hey, Jimmy, excellent point, and I didn't know that. Now, see, that's very good, Jimmy, because that's a wise chess move you did.
Mm-hmm.
You knew what you had in your car, legal or illegally, and I'm sure it was legal. But the fact that you had those weapons, it that would have caused a whole nother situation just because you said no.
Yep.
But because
Yep.
you did, knowing the fact, that was a wise move, and then I'm sure that worked out for your favor. So this is something else I want to say based on what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to know what you have on you and what's in your car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Based on what you know what's on you and basis what's in your car also will dictate how you respond to an officer.
That's right. Yes, sir.
See, Jimmy, man, it goes back to the mindset.
Yeah.
If you wasn't clear headed, if you wasn't thinking, and you didn't have respect enough for yourself and knowing the authority of that officer, regardless of the fact, something would have went wrong for you.
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking. I said, I'm just gonna be compliant no matter what. Because I don't want this heat to become a inferno. Let me get out of the car. Yeah, sure. I'll sit back there. Cool, man. I was on my cell phone. I'm looking at YouTube. I'm cool. So the cop looking like, damn, he really ain't worried about nothing. He back there watching videos. I said, hey, do what you got to do. I said, but he didn't ask about any weapons or none of that stuff. And then he let me out. He said I was swerving, which I was, because I was so hungry. I was dipping my nuggets. I never forget. I stopped at Chick-fil-A. I'm driving and trying to eat and everything, and that's why he pulled me over. But
let me ask you this: when you saw those lights on you and stuff like that, do you remember what were your thoughts? What were your feelings? What were your emotions at that time?
I'm like, damn. What? First thing I said, what did I do? What could I have done? I didn't know what I have done. My windows was tinted, so I know he didn't see that I was black. I had Arizona plates. I'm in Ohio. He's probably like, well, let's see what this dude is doing. So I pulled over. He asked me where I was coming from, the usual. I said Chick-fil-A, got my food and was compliant with him and everything. And to be honest, it was hella traffic. And he's standing where the traffic is like, he said, you mind getting out the vehicle? I don't know why he didn't come to my passenger side, but he didn't, because I don't want to, it's a lot of traffic out here. So I said, yeah, got out of the car. He let me keep my keys and everything. I'm just sitting in the back like, okay. Yeah. But he was a young officer, so I don't know why he did that. I guess for a precautionary reason. I'm not sure.
Okay. And this is another thing. I'm gonna jump on this while you just mentioned it. Ladies and gentlemen, too, this is very important. This is, man, you ain't gonna hear this nowhere else. This is probably the first time y'all even thinking in this manner. But I hope y'all listen to this and pay attention, because this is gonna be important. Now, and this, I'm gonna write a book about this later on, about the police officers, how the officers approach you, will also let you determine a little bit about what that officer is going to do to you based on the officer's behavior also. This is going to be a big lesson. But anyway, so this officer, now I can already picture, this is a young officer. How old do you think he was?
Man, he had to be in this fresh out of the academy. I'm going to say about 25, 24.
Jimmy, that whole thing is critical, because you thought, just by you observing this officer, you saying that you thought he was probably just fresh out of the academy, which he was. That observation of viewing this officer also gives you the ability to know how you should exactly approach him also and speak to him. Based on that officer's appearance, based on the officer's age, based on the officer's approach to you, and when he spoke to you, how did he speak to you?
He was mannerable. He was mannerable, but I could tell that he wasn't seasoned by some of the things he was saying.
All of those are critical and determine how you should best conduct yourself even more just by doing that. And
he was hella nervous, because I stepped out of the car. I'm 6'1", he's like 5'7", something like that. So now he's like, oh shit, angry black guy. I still got my food. I'm chilling. I'm super relaxed, not trying to be non-threatening, as calm as possible. But I could tell he was on edge.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. So everything you did, played it towards your advantage because you recognize not only what you had on you, not only what you had in your car, but you recognize you paid attention to the officer himself. And this is
Mm-hmm.
a critical point because this is what causing a lot of people to get hemmed up or even get shot. Because because an officer in certain ways is definitely going to tell you how or who they are as a person by how they approach you and talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I hope y'all really get a grasp on that. Because when you look at an officer, you have to determine and look very careful at everything this officer is saying, doing, and how he's dressed.
Right. Mm.
Now, I'm gonna take a little bit farther.
Okay.
If you see an officer approach you and he's upper age, right?
Right.
Or if he's unfortunately, let's say if he's out of shape and his uniform is raggedy and he's just a mess. And you know also when you see your officer just a mess.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's not carrying himself very well as an officer. Right there, more than likely, this officer, more than likely, depending on how he comes at you and speak to you, knowing by his demeanor, he's gonna be shady.
Right. He gonna be grimy. Right.
Come on, man. You see what's going, Jimmy?
Yeah. Exactly.
Now
Exactly.
I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. Now this is important too. If an officer comes to you and he has a slick haircut, in other words, like a military haircut,
Oh boy.
all right,
Mm-hmm.
his
Mm-hmm.
his boots are shined. I mean, you can't tell him that his suit, his whole uniform is on point, and he's coming to you like he's in the military. What you think's gonna happen,
Oh,
Jimmy?
he gonna be straight. He's all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed.
Come on, man. Come on, man. This is like
Yeah.
basic stuff. We already know just but from where we come from.
Exactly.
Now, also based on where you come from and how you are raised where you come from, also dictates your behavior as it relates to your contact and your compliance with police officers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And no, and a lot of these people, they don't have anybody to tell them, hey, this is how you should keep yourself, like you said, stay calm, don't give attitude, because they're already looking at you in a certain way, in a certain light. You know what I mean? So it behooves you to be compliant, be cool, and just do what they tell you to do. If they want you to sit on the curb, just sit on the curb. Hey, I'm gonna sit on the curb, let you do what you gotta do.
Absolutely. Now, for a lot of brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, some of you're doing wrong already from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
you encounter with the police,
Yeah.
you already know this, and you dig the hole deeper by doing things that makes it even worse from you. Now, I'm also say, now I can speak for myself. I'm gonna come to your car if you swerving black or white, and you in a certain neighborhood, and I want to pull you over based on legal terms of a traffic stop.
Right.
I'm going to approach you, and I'm going to dictate too how I react towards you based on everything's connected together based on how you come back at me.
Right.
Demi, my brother, you came correctly. So that gave the officer, even though he might have been nervous because of your height, I mean, you're a pretty big brother, man, and I know you still hit that weights.
Mm-hmm.
Stepping out of the car, you tall, you a black man. Okay, there's a lot going against you, so he's already nervous. But I
Right.
believe what helped him is because how you approached him, how you complied to him,
Right.
and how you knew how to adjust your mindset and your demeanor and your behavior was worked out for you and for that officer. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
let's say if I'm coming in, I'm gonna do the same thing. But most of the times, an officer already know they can tell when they approach the car how the car looks on the inside, how the person is acting in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this. Now, most of the time, too, when you know you got something that is illegal, brothers and sisters, you're nervous. You're already digging in the car. Your hands is moving. You're jittery. You're moving. That's going to be a problem for you.
Wow. Right.
Come on, man. I'm teaching y'all some games. So yeah, you right now. I'm telling you, and y'all know it too, but you need somebody. And I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna tell you, if I'm coming to your car, I'm seeing y'all, you gibbering, you jubbering. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get straight to it.
Right.
Hey, where's your driver's license insurance? If you got all that, okay, fine. I'm still looking at you and I'm observing. I'm going to ask you some questions because I have the right, because it's a legal traffic stop. I'm the authority, and I'm not going to push my authority unless you, as the driver, dictates me to do so based on what I can do legally and right, of course. But I'm going to go home safely, and I'm going to make sure, because when I did my police job, I did it with utmost honor, and I did it right, and I did it safely for everyone in the communities that I worked to serve for. So I'm going to still be talking to you. If you got your driver's license, so guess what? So you got all that done. While I'm going to go back to the car, and I'm going to run. Now, obviously, you didn't have anything. You didn't have no warrants or anything. Now, let's say if you did, and you doing all that gibbering and moving around, all kind of stuff, I'm going to then get you out of the car, obviously. I'm going to find and get you out of the car, because I want to make sure whatever it is that you're doing, what I know probably know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, that it's going to be safe for you and me and for the community. I was a police officer. I was always about the community, the safety of the community, and where I served, and can't nobody say otherwise, because it's federally documented. Right. And I made sure that every stop I made, and every bad person that was doing wrong, regardless of what, it didn't have nothing to do with the race. If you was doing wrong and I knew you was doing wrong, I was going to make sure you was going to be removed and out of that community.
Wow. Yeah.
Point. I didn't have no mercy on them, because the streets out here has no mercy on regular citizens, law-abiding citizens. So
they don't.
Why would I have mercy on a criminal?
Listen, when you see these videos and you see these young kids holding freaking AR-15s and M16s and 223s, and you like, where y'all getting these guns? Do you think it'll become a time where police officers are going to have to up their game with firearms?
Man, most of it depends on the officer. Officers have already upped their game. Officers can have the firepower. Some officers, they don't have it, and some officers do.
Right.
So who the officer is and what patrol area, because every patrol officer is not going to have all that firepower. But trust and believe, there's firepower there, but you don't see it all the time because most officers don't care. But that's when the reinforcement and the cavalry is going to come with that firepower if the officer need it, if he don't have it.
Right.
Believe officers had that firepower, my brother.
Okay, because when I was a kid, the officer had the Rochester PD. They had the shotgun, the salt, the pump right in front if they needed that. I don't see that in cop cars anymore.
Well, and that's true, but trust me, they have it.
They have it. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's there because I had it.
Okay, you need it, because a lot of these kids, man, you go into some of these communities and they, like you said, they can't control their emotions. They all over the place. They ready to kill and shoot anything. So I kind of understand why a lot of officers look at a certain group of people in a certain light, and it's partly our fault because we don't take responsibility for our own actions. If I looked at a bunch of people and I'm like, damn, they constantly killing and stabbing and shooting each other, and I ain't a part of that community, I'm gonna look at them crazy. Like, you know what? I think I need to be on my P's and Q's when I go around this certain group of people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jimmy, unfortunately, man, man, it's a different beast out here, man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go a little spiritually, because I have no choice. I have to. Because, man, listen, everything evolves. For me, I'm going to say this. Knowing what I've seen out there, the evil. Evil is present whether you believe it or not.
Facts.
Even though evil spirits is in people that do evil, whether you believe it or not.
Facts.
Same thing with the spiritual lightness of God. If
Mm-hmm.
you have God, then what do you have in you that will cause you to kill
Mm.
or beat somebody?
Come on now. Come on now.
Let's go back a little bit from the beginning of time, my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I care for a little bit. Compliance was something that was from the beginning of time. No one comes in this world without being compliant in some form of fashion,
Mm-hmm.
because you was born from the womb of your mother. So you had to be taught, even if you was taken from your mother or your father, in which many young people had been taken from their mother and father due to certain circumstances where drugs or violence, they're in prison or in jail. But somebody had you where you had to learn and comply to what they said until you got a certain age. So the problem is, once you get out on your own thinking you can do your own on your own thing, on your
Mm.
terms, in your own world, and I've seen it time and time again with these,
Right.
even quitting and dropping out of high school, leaving the homes of their shelter, of their protection, where their mothers and fathers or someone loved them, but they wanted to run and rule and think they're almighty,
Mm-hmm.
streets on their own until they had to find out the hard way. So Adam and Eve had compliance to what God told them what they should and should not do.
Mm.
The problem came when the devil came and introduced something, a compliance that was opposite from what the creator complied or told them to comply to. And
Mm-hmm.
since then, there's been crimes from that one criminal act from Eve. And such is the case when you and I ever think that we can comply to our own and live and comply on our own terms. Trust and believe the devil is always there to get you to do something that's going to work against you and not for you. And it's been happening for generations until now, and it
Mm-hmm.
gets worse. So what is the solution? I got to put this in here, man.
Mm-hmm.
So many times youngsters don't know officers. You didn't know the officer that pulled you over.
Right.
I didn't know the officer that I got pulled over when I was in a different city or town I was. Youngsters don't know officers. A lot of citizens don't know the officers in their communities, because that's the first step in solving a lot of problems. And this is one thing I learned how to do too. Getting to know people in your community and
Right.
the community getting to know you. And so
Mm-hmm.
you approach certain people in your community based on that relationship or that communications also dictates how you react and you approach and you handle citizens in your community.
Hey man,
So the
Stevon,
first
you hitting it right on the head, man.
yeah, man.
My granddad, and I used to be amazed. He, rest his soul, he knew every Rochester police officer that worked in that 19th Ward district by freaking name, and they knew him by name. And he wasn't a they didn't know him by name because he was some criminal.
Yeah,
Back then, when I was coming up and you and I come up, the police knew the community. They knew the neighbors. They knew who they could go to. They knew, what was going on.
yeah, yeah, man. Let's say if you would have went to jail, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you would have went to jail that night, bro. Right? And you in a whole nother. You was in Ohio.
I was in Ohio. Yep.
You from Arizona. Let's say you would have went to jail in Ohio, my bro. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a lawyer right now that you call him?
We used to have a family lawyer, but as of right now, I do not.
Okay.
Nope.
Let me ask you this. Do you know a police officer in Ohio that could have made the situation, if you would have went to jail, much easier for you in the process while you're in Ohio to get you out of jail in that whole process? Do you know an officer in Ohio?
Nope. I only know one. I know a couple officers down here that'll do that for me, but not in Ohio.
I'm
Nope.
going somewhere. Trust me.
Okay.
I say all things for a reason. Okay, now let me ask you this. Okay, so you didn't have a attorney at that time that you can call on. You didn't have a particular police officer in that area that could have helped you, even doing the traffic stop if you would have went to jail. And by the way, if you would have known a police officer, you knew you was in the right, that could have helped you not get arrested in Ohio. You didn't have any of that. Okay, so did you have anybody at all that could have helped you get you out of that situation that you knew you shouldn't have been in Ohio? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Why do you think so? I'm just curious. Have you ever thought about that?
I'm not from Ohio. I don't live in Ohio. I don't do any kind of business in Ohio, so I don't know anybody in Ohio.
Okay. All right. Now, and this is another question I want to ask you. In your opinion, how many times you think you've been stopped overall anywhere in the United States?
Woo! I used to live in when I was married. I got stopped in Birmingham, Alabama, twice. I've been stopped in Rochester, New York. I've been stopped in Ohio, and I've been stopped here in Phoenix, Arizona. So 5 times.
Okay. So most of the times, thousands, my brother, I would say even millions, had been put over, stopped, had no one to turn to, didn't have anything wrong, and many have been killed and put to jail. Don't have no legal defense, has no attorney, has no officer that they can trust or that they can call on to connect with to say, hey, that connect with that officer at that scene. So many other situations. You had no one at all, and many millions don't. Well, my brother, this is why I know it out without a doubt. God has placed me. God has put me in a position. God has brought me through policing. God has gave me a decorated position. God has awarded me with different things. God has brought me out of a lot of death situations, dangerous situations on tactical units, going inside of dangerous situations in communities. All that to say this, that I know without a doubt, this is why God gave me what I'm termed CPIIA. And that's Citizens and Police Immediate Interactive Assistance, my brother, that anyone can get, that where you can get legal assistance. Not only legal assistance, you would know the police officers, you would have trusted police officers in any state that you go to on your behalf as a law-abiding citizen, legal law-abiding citizen that obeys the law and has a mindset to understand that when you are anywhere and you know that your rights may be in jeopardy or someone in your family, you would have these resources available for you 24/7, anywhere at any given time with that service, my brothers and sisters. When you need it. Now, a lot of people don't even think they would need this service. And most of the time, a lot of people that don't think it is the ones that do need it. By the time they do need it, they're already paying thousands and thousands of dollars. They're in jail. They have a criminal record that they had to fight. And it's an ongoing system. And there's always been an ongoing system because I've seen it for myself.
Right.
Over and over again. And this is why it's important for people to understand. And I want to make sure that if you want to know more about this and understand the importance of CPIIA, CPIIAsolutions.com is the website for people can look to and understand what's before you, because I'm on a mission to bring a new era of communication, protection, service, trust between citizens, police, the right way that I know that I even done. And CPIIA, my brother.
CPIIA
Solutions.com.
Gotcha. Man, that is incredible. I'm going to put that in the link. But I want to show you 2 videos right quick, and you tell me what you think of these.
Yes, sir.
Georgia has been charged with the murder of an unarmed black man. Brings up approximately twice the facts from 2 white officers in a car park in Atlanta.
Can you see it?
Who was sacked from the police force shortly after the shooting, could face the death penalty if he's found guilty. Our North America correspondent, Nick Bright, takes up the story. It started out as a routine call. An African-American reported asleep in his vehicle in the car park of a fast food restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia. Rayshard Brooks was asked by police to take a sobriety test. Then he suggested he walk to his sister's home nearby. But after he failed the breath test, the police decided to take him into custody. That's when a fight broke out in which he seized and fired one of the officer's tasers. during a brief chase. He pointed the taser at the officer, who responded by fatally shooting him in the back.
Now, why not just be compliant, brother? Why take you're already in handcuffs, you're already going to jail, you're taking off running. Well, one arm was handcuffed.
Okay.
He snatched the officer's taser gun, runs, even though the cop probably the tasers don't reach that far. He turned around and pointed the taser at the officer. The officer shot and killed him. He could have shot him in the leg or I don't know, foot or something. But before you comment on this one, let me show you one more. You're going to be familiar with this one right here. And I want you to give me your take on these two. If I can get this back.
Involving Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley. The case now referred to a state commission and the Monroe County Office of Public Integrity. 13 Web's Natalie Calzoni has the latest on the mounting trouble for the DA. Natalie, good evening.
Good evening, Matt. District Attorney Sandra Dorley now faces at least 2 investigations, one requested by the governor, another now being launched by the Monroe County Office of Public Integrity.
I am the DDA in Monroe County. I understand that. But you know what? If you give me that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it, okay?
This exchange between Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley and a Webster police officer is now the focus of at least 2 investigations. The latest, announced by the Monroe County Office of Public Integrity, which says it received several requests to investigate. Director Jansen McNair saying his office will conduct an investigation in conjunction with the Monroe County Board of Ethics, which he chairs. The investigation will begin immediately. It comes after Governor Kathy Hochul referred the incident to the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct. Hochul saying district attorneys are responsible for prosecuting criminal and traffic offenses and must perform their duties with the highest ethical standards. The chair of the commission, Michael Simons, telling 13 WHAM the agency can subpoena witnesses and documents and make recommendations for sanctions.
Now, you talk about an abuse of power. This lady was able to go home, take her 2 Labrador retrievers for a walk, make a nice mayonnaise sandwich, cut the crust off it, as the officer stands there, come outside and say, if you even give me a ticket, I'm gonna be the one that sees it and throw the shit away. Excuse my language, throw it away. You got 2 different scenarios there. Why wasn't she wrestled down? Or tased? You don't know what she going in the house to get as an officer. She could have came out there with an AR-15, anything.
Right.
If that would have been, I'm gonna play the race card, care who get mad. If that would have been my uncle, your uncle, that would have went. First of all, he wouldn't have made it in the house. They would have shot him right there on the spot.
He wouldn't have.
What do you say to those 2 videos right there? Clearly, the first one, the brother was in the wrong. I might have to admit that he was in the wrong.
Okay, so with the first video, and I can't remember the I saw that one. I can't remember his name, but what I can say is that here's a situation where it goes back to what we've been talking about. Well, this brother knew he was already in the wrong. He already knew that he was doing something he should have been doing. So obviously, because he done that, they tested him for intoxication. Okay, obviously he failed that test. So the officers went to put him in handcuffs based on those facts, right? Okay.
Yep.
Now here we go. Now it goes back to the mindset. Now his mind wasn't already clear because see, he what he took in him made his judgment off. So what he had before he got to the intoxication, or before he was doing alcohol or taking some unknown substance, okay, it probably wasn't clear already. But this is the thing: when you already know you got problems, you got shit in your life as a man. It's hard on us as men, black men. So this brother was probably going through a whole lot in his life, obviously. So he's already on something. He failed the test. He's not thinking clearly. His mindset is off. His spirit is off. He doesn't have the right spirit. You see, it's all tying it together. His spirit is off. He's got something in him he shouldn't have had. He's doing something illegal. He's not thinking clearly. All of these are in connection of how you are going to react, not only to a police officer or anybody in life. He's toxic. So now he's in handcuffs. So when he's in handcuffs, all these situations is going on. The officers didn't know it probably was going to end up like that because he's already in handcuffs, but it did anyway. Now, based on the color of his skin and the color of the officer's skin, that also made his judgment off, because now it's certainly it's a race, it's racially, it's a racial tension, because white officers, regardless of where you are, majority of white officers were not raised in black communities.
Correct.
Raised amongst us. It's a fact. It's nothing a lie about it. It's just the truth. So they already come with prejudgments towards us. So when you add on it with what your behavior and demeanor is still all tying in together, what we've been talking about, that officer automatically sees this black man. He's already did something illegal. He's not going to have no mercy. Of course, he's going to put him in handcuffs. That's just the typical procedures to take. But now that he's being aggressive, on top of him being black, that officer is not going to hesitate. And what he did wasn't right by shooting this black man, and him being a white man didn't have any mercy on that suspect because of him being black, and because of what he'd been taught or even been brought up teaching in his mindset as a white officer. Shot that suspect when he should not have had, because I wouldn't have done it. Majority of officers, good officers, wouldn't have done that. But this, I would say, wasn't a good officer, because he shot the man with handcuffs and in the back, even if he didn't have handcuffs.
And on top of that, he stood on top of him. Yeah, and they refused to call assistance for him. The brother probably could have been saved. I don't know. It was two of them. This happened like 3 years ago in Atlanta. Yeah, but you're right. They got rid of him. He was a bad apple, that officer. But that's all he needed, and that's what me and you talked about in the beginning. You being able to control your emotions.
There you go.
When being pulled over.
But it just goes to show again, my brother, that it's going to be hard to control your emotions, youngsters. When you have stuff in your system, your mindset is different. Now, let's say if you didn't, even these youngsters are listening to all this rap. That's your spirit. A lot of youngsters on the edge because they, come on, my brother, because of what they putting in them.
They don't understand the vibration, that nonsense that they listen to, that drill music. I'm sliding on my ops. I'm pulling out big guns. I'm like, this is what you're subconsciously soaking up.
Yes.
And they don't understand that. I'm doing a whole piece on that, man. I've been trying to get Professor Griff to come on here, but I might need to bring you back. And we talk about this music and how it's killing the black culture, and it's spilling over into other cultures. Right now, we have a group of kids out here called the Gilbert Goons, and they recently killed this kid at a Halloween party.
What are they called?
They call the Gilbert Goons. Bunch of white privileged kids, but the music that they consume and the culture, the vibrations, that BS that they listening to, is the reason why they projecting and trying to be this thing. So that music, I don't care what nobody say, that type of music is detrimental to your mindset, and it's detrimental to the community, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So thankfully, I didn't know. So they got rid of that officer.
They got rid of him. Yes, they did.
What they did was they fired him, but what they should, which is part of the game also. So he's probably, we don't even know. They're gonna keep that. That's gonna be on the hush hush. He's probably at another law enforcement agency right now as we speak.
Hey, just like they do the Catholic priests, man, that be molesting kids. They just move them from what do they call them? From parish to parish. Yeah. That's all they do.
And it's important for us to make sure we stay on top of what we need to stay on top of as a community, and know the officers in your community. Now, with this second situation, my brother, with this Sandra Dorley, I believe. Now, I have no this right here. This right here teaches a whole lot of lessons, man. I can give we can speak all night on this, but what I really want to say on this one, my brother, well, first of all, with the approach of the officer, it goes back again. This officer sees this woman. It's not a black woman. Let's just get right into it, because I'm not gonna, that's why a lot of officers have to. I'm not an officer anymore, so I can talk, but I know through experience and through the knowledge of it, a lot of officers have to be real careful in what they say, because they're still a part of the agencies. Okay, and
Right.
I understand that. But even when I still was outspoken about justice and injustice. That's what got me, really pushed me out of there, to be honest with you.
Right.
I'll hold back on the truth and justice, because that's the way God built me. Because I wasn't raised. You know where we come from. We
Right.
weren't raised in the era where we just was timid and just let things just fly.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
Officer, he's a white officer. Not only is this woman, she's a white woman. Not only is she a privileged white woman, but this is a woman of authority also. So all these is dictating how this officer is going to respond. Now, vice versa, let's flip it. This white officer, let's say she was a black woman of authority with that particular power. I guarantee you, everyone knows it, that white officer would not have that same right to that woman if she was black doing what she did.
She would have been in jail. And his supervisor was there and told the freaking rookie cop, which I think he is, it's up to you. You make the decision what you want to do.
Come on, man. Now I'm going to say this. Now, and then a lot of people didn't catch this, but I've been doing stuff like this for a long time, and I know dirty and corrupt and a wicked person and a criminal when I see a criminal. That Sandra Dorley, ladies and gentlemen, with the God in me and the wisdom in me and the expertise that I know about traffic stops, she gave every element of a criminal.
Yes, she did.
By what she did and how she did it. And if they would have made a warrant on that house, because I don't know if you caught it, that woman put something in that house that she should not have had put in that house.
I commented, Steven, you got a good eye. I said that woman probably sniffed a whole 8-ball of cocaine, because she was definitely high while she went in that doggone house.
That lady put some illegal substance in that home, and allowed her to do it.
Allowed her to do it.
Was determined to get home, because I guarantee you, I put it all on it, because no one will know now, because they allowed that to happen. That woman had some illegal substance in that vehicle, in that purse, and she went inside that house. As soon as she put whatever she had in her hand, she went inside the house, and when she came back out, it wasn't with her.
It wasn't there. Yep.
The lady is a criminal, and she needs to go to felony prison for not stopping for that officer.
They had to follow the lady home, allowed the lady to go into her house. This is, I mean, if the community should be outraged, what did they do with Leticia, the judge over there? They got rid of her ASAP, didn't they?
Yeah, man. That lady is dangerous. And the longer she stays in power, and even if she stays in power, God bless. And I don't even think prayer is not going to help the citizens there in Monroe County with that woman being in authority. And obviously, based on what I've known, from what a little bit I've heard about her, she's been doing some shady stuff in her department already that's been very questionable, unethical, go in a problem with even how she handling cases and handling the citizens who have issues in the communities, crimes, dangerous crimes. This lady is all around very corrupt, very dangerous, and a hazard to Monroe County in New York.
And that just goes back to what we talked about earlier about the color of our skin, brothers and sisters. It's important that y'all be compliant, and super important. Don't escalate the problem. None of that. No matter who pull you over, even if it's a black officer, comply. Because like Steven said, at the end of the day, if I'm an officer and you fidgeting around and shit, I want to go home. I got a family. I want to go home, and I don't know what you're reaching for.
Right.
Have everything, have your license, your registration, all that stuff, ready to go when they pull you over. My brother, I want you to tell the people about all the things you have done, because we missed that earlier today. I didn't go live, you know, when I forgot to hit the button. I want to run down your resume one more time for everybody that's just now tuning in.
Well, you know, all I can say is that I've been fortunate and blessed to be raised, me and Jimmy, in with families in the west side of Rochester, New York, in the projects, in the hood. But we've been raised the right way. And he went his journey in his way. I went my journey in my direction that I wanted to go. I had a dream and desire to be in law enforcement. I went to a law magnet school. We both went to John Marshall High School.
Yeah, John Marshall Juris Law School. Yes, sir.
So, and I was in the law magnet program there.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Alabama A&M for a few years. Finished my degree at Lamar University, my criminal justice career degree, and I went into law enforcement for the Houston Police Department. As soon as I got in the academy, I played no games. Got the award, got the accomplishment that I needed there. Went straight to patrol, did 7 years, Southeast Side. Everybody knows Southeast Side, one of the worst, dangerous areas in Houston, Sunny Side. Did my patrol, protected, served, sacrificed my life. Made Officer of the Year. Got awards from the previous mayor, awards from citizens from that area, city council. I've done the job that I dreamed of doing, and it got me to making Officer of the Year. From Officer of the Year, I went to tactical units, went to specialized divisions, went undercover. I've done everything you can imagine. I've been in just about any situation you can think of that a person can be in, but God brought me out of it. I arrested thousands and thousands upon dangerous criminals, fugitive warrants, narcotics arrests, all in any kinds, human trafficking, prostitution, all kinds of things, drug deals. I've done it all, and it made me within federally documented. You can do your research. I'm the only officer, patrol single man unit in world history that has arrested some of the most dangerous criminals in world history that's never been done by any single man unit in world history. Those are the accomplishments that God has gave me.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I appreciate you for coming on. I don't hold people no longer than, people got short attention span nowadays. Yeah. But I gotta bring you back on. If people need your services, where can they reach you at?
So it's CPII, and you got it right. You just have to put an S at the end of that N.
Okay.
It's solutions.com. You can find out all of the services, and I trust and believe this was so important and a very, very profound whole ordeal that we did here. So everything that we talked about that you probably would have never heard anywhere else, and I guarantee you that there's a lot of nuggets that a lot of people, families, and dealing with compliance and traffic stops, dealing with your spiritual mindset, your mindset, knowing who you are, your environment, knowing how to respond to police, looking what you can look at when you approach or encountering the police officers, what to look for with the police officers. We did a whole lot of things you would never hear anywhere else. Play this back, take your notes, and take it to your last breath. This will save your life anywhere at any given time. What we talked about tonight on this program, man, and it was powerful, and I appreciate the time and I appreciate the opportunity, my brother.
Yes, sir. I thank you so much. Do you have any social media platforms you want people to come check out?
You can go to Hoverman Cop on Instagram, Hoverman Cop on Twitter, which is now X. You go to the TikTok, you see me on there. You can go to my Facebook. That's my name, Steven Fluid. You can reach me up on there on my Facebook, man. That's where I'm at.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to put all those links in the description. You want to reach out to this man and get some knowledge and wisdom about, understanding your rights and the law. We didn't get into that as much, but we really touched on being compliant. Hey, man, I thank you, man. I want you to go eat. I appreciate you. And I'm going to bring you back again, bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Good seeing you, man. I love you.
You too. I love you too, bro.
I'm proud of you too, man.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Okay, my brother.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, man, good conversation, my boy, my brother. We go way, way, way back. Way back. Project days, man. Growing up in Rochester, New York. Until next time, I want y'all to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. This is No Anonymity, the podcast. And we're going to let Cairo take us on up out of here. Until next time, peace, y'all.
No anonymity, no anonymity. Podcast. No anonymity, no anonymity. Podcast. No anonymity, no anonymity. Podcast. No anonymity, no anonymity. I'm here to talk the truth and try to spread a little change. Educate your mind, you know, food for your brain. We all want change. In these dying days, the streets at rage, for the youth must pray. I ain't got time for y'all to tell me nothing. Cats be frontin', that's when you know they know nothing. It's a new world order, so fall in line. Sometime if you listen, it can open your eyes. This your brain on drugs. Let's explain what was, how some get targeted, dragged through the mud. It's our conversation, we just talking the facts. And to those with opinions can reply to that. And I reply you back, but that's besides the fact. It's like time for the show, let's get your mind intact. We can all conversate and lay out facts. It's the No Anonymity Podcast.